just real quickly, because we are, we have to be mindful of the time. First of all, I want to wish everybody a happy and safe return to school. Our kids are going back to school in Miami-Dade County on Monday. So that's exciting. And I know it's challenging a little bit. And I just wish everybody a happy and safe back to school. So I wanted to say that. It's also National Black Business Month. So this is August is the month that we celebrate the contributions and creativity and entrepreneurial spirit of Black-owned businesses across the country and, of course, in our own county. And so for us, it's really a year-round passion, but it's great that we have a month when we can stop a little bit and really recognize the contribution that our Black business owners make to our country. That being said, we're a little bit short on time, so I wanted to just point you to the links that I put in the chat box. So the Goldman Sachs 10,000 Small Businesses program is open. If you want to apply for that for the next cohort, the link is in the chat box. It's a fantastic program. The only caveat is you have to have $75,000 in revenue, but people that have graduated from that program speak of it in very glowing terms. It can change a business and turn it around and make it so that it really helps you to grow. The other thing is there's an eviction moratorium, as you know. So if you or anybody you know is struggling with that concern, please check out that link and you can see that there are things that you can do. And lastly, there is another accelerator program that I put the link to for Black-owned startups. So check that out, very impactful. And so now we have a team and our featured guest today, and I'm gonna go ahead without further ado to introduce him. And his name is Michael Selinger. He is the Director of Loan Programs at the Miami-Bayside Foundation. Michael oversees all the loan programs and workshops for the Miami-Bayside Foundation. He has over 25 years of experience in diverse industries. Most recently, guys, if we can mute, please, if you don't mind. Thank you so much. So again, I'll start again. Michael oversees the loan programs and workshops for the Miami-Bayside Foundation. He has over 25 years of experience in diverse industries. Most recently, he had a toy importing company, which is fascinating. In addition, he is the founder of Cottleston Advisors, a full-service lifestyle marketing and management consulting company specializing in the visual arts. Before working in the art world, he held various positions in banking, real estate, and internet marketing. Michael serves on the boards of the Columbia Alumni Arts League. He holds a Master's of Business Administration in Finance and Accounting from Columbia University. Please help me welcome Mr. Michael Selinger to the Morning Huddle.
Thank you,
Michael.
Daniel.
Welcome.
We're gonna have to cut back the number of years on that, but otherwise that sounded great. Hi, everybody. Welcome to the Morning Huddle. We're here to talk about Miami-Bayside. Our elevator pitch, or what do you call it, Danielo? The
15-second pitch or elevator pitch, yeah.
Yeah, no, but you were having the lightning round.
Lightning round, yeah.
So Miami-Based Foundation empowers small businesses run by minorities and women. And we do that three ways. We have grants and scholarship programs, which are for high school students in underserved communities. And then for the small business community, we do technical assistance, which effectively are workshops. Talk a little bit about those later. And of course, a loan program where we do loans up to $150,000, 6% interest, amortized over 5 years. And I think a lot of what we're going to talk about today is going to center around that. Those loan programs come in two forms. One is conventional, and we also administer for the state of Florida the Black Business Loan Program. And we've been doing that for the past 3 years in Miami-Dade, and as of July, going off of the state fiscal calendar, we are now in Broward and Monroe counties as well. So we're really excited to be expanding into those counties and adding value to the community. So that's my lightning round pitch.
Fantastic. Thank you, Michael. So do you want to introduce the team that you brought?
Sure. Also with me today are Alan Alvarez. Alan now facilitates and manages the educational scholarship program and the small business trainings. Our next trainings we have a Spanish training. It'll be our second time doing it. That is how to run a small business. Small business training class is how to run a small business. We're now doing it in Spanish. That is starting September 14th, and it is open for applications are open. Alan's going to type that into the chat, and then our regular SBT, which is one we've been doing. I think this will be our 17th coming up. That is the October 19th, and that opens up applications on the 7th of September. The trainings are done through Zoom. They're roughly 30 hours, cover everything from how to run a business, from legal to procurement to digital marketing, financing, and understanding, and financial literacy. That's Alan. And then new to our team is Nisha Gordon. Nisha joins us from Tools for Change. I think Danilo, you recognized her from when you're nowadays. She is now our new loan program coordinator. So she'll be backing up myself and the other loan managers. I think that's who we got on. I think Kathleen, our executive director, was on for a split second, and I don't see her name up there, so she may not be on, but she's executive director of Miami-Dade.
Fantastic, Michael. Thank you. So let's talk about the.
I see Lia from North Miami. How are you?
Yes, and I know Marcella was trying to connect, but there was a little internet issue, so maybe she'll be able to log on. So Michael, about the Black Business Loan Program. So can you tell us more about that?
Sure. It's a program that's got a long history in the state. It, I believe, started in early 1980s under a different name. It was there was a coalition of Black legislators who felt that something needed to be done to help the Black community. And so they created this, what is now called the BBLP. I think it was formalized as into legislation in early aughts, so around 2004, 2005. And effectively once a year, there's an allocation of funds, roughly $2 to $2.5 million, that is for loans into the Black community. That is for the entire state. There are a couple of administrators every year. And this year we have been, as I mentioned earlier, we've been an administrator of that program for the past 3 years. And starting this year, and that was in Miami-Dade. And starting this year, we've expanded to Broward and Monroe counties. So the loans are done, they basically, the money is used by whoever's administrating it as if it was going through their regular loan program. So in the case of Miami-Bayside, our program is, again, $5,000 to $150,000 in loans. The interest rate is fixed at 6%, and that amortizes over 5 years. So if you are coming into Miami-Bayside for a loan, would effectively not know the difference between whether you're going through our conventional, what we call our conventional program, which is open to all, again, minorities and women, or through our BBLP program, except from where it wouldn't matter to you. It's still, again, up to $150,000, 6%, amortized over 5 years. Other sort of details, we are not credit sensitive, so we go as low as 575. We have gone lower. We recognize it sometimes in certain communities. Credit is not is frowned upon, so there's a reason that people have bad credit, and not always because they are not. It's not always character driven. We are not afraid of startups. As Danilo mentioned, my background, one of the many areas I've been is I was an investment banker on Wall Street, doing healthcare investment banking for a number of years. So I'm taking that kind of looking at deals to Miami-Bayside's program. So I say, don't underwrite like a traditional bank. We overwrite. We're more interested in how you're going to use our funds to grow your business, and equally as important, create jobs. Job creation is an important component. Um, Most traditional banks and other lenders are going to be underwriting, so they're going to be more interested in your historicals than necessarily your projections. Not to say that we don't look at those things; they are um, uh, uh, a representation of what the business has done and where it can launch to. But again, it's really we're most interested in how you're going to use our funds to expand your growth.
Great, Michael. So there are loans up to $150,000. You're looking for opportunities to grow and to create jobs. So what is the process if somebody wants to apply?
Okay, so my contact information is at the very beginning of what's probably an extremely long chat by now. Nisha, if you don't mind, just type that back in. But you can reach out to myself, you can reach out to Nisha or Alan, and we can certainly send you the data directly. The application can also be found on our website. It's Miami-Bayside-Foundation.org, I think is what we're using right now, Alan, if you would type that in. I apologize, I'm having them do that because I can't multitask at this point in my life, or maybe I realized I never could. I just finally realized it. And if you go through that way, you'll sign in, you'll get registered, and then we'll reach out. So effectively, it'll be the same process. We'll learn a little bit about your business on that phone call. We'll send you our application. We have a very simple projections template that you can build your model off of, and an outline for a business plan. Those are the application is 13 pages. The first page does list other documents we ask for, such as historicals. Again, we do startups, so we don't expect you to have historicals. But if you do, that's always helpful. See where you're coming from. And that's pretty much the process. And then we will walk you through the documents. We don't need everything at once. We help you with the business plan and with the projections as you are fighting through them. We recognize those are challenging, and you as a small business owner are probably a solopreneur. And so busy in your business, putting out fires, and hard to step away and do those kinds of documents. So we're there to help you process.
Thanks, Michael. And I wanted to ask you about the Miami Bayside Foundation is what's known as a CDFI. Is that accurate?
That is correct. So CDFI is a community development financial institution. It's a U.S. Treasury designation. There are half a dozen or so in Miami-Dade and around the county. There are a lot of them. It just means that we've been vetted by the U.S. Treasury. We also have access to grants, funds from them. So it just kind of elevates. I mean, Nana is right. Tools for Change is a CDFI. Lia group up in Opa-locka is also CDFI. So there's a number of them on the call and also within the state. But if you are not, for instance, if you are not in this county, like I do a talk on how to write a business plan once a quarter for SCORE, and we get people outside of the Tri-County area. I always encourage them to look for CDFI, Google CDFI in your area, and then also check into some of the other resources that are available for free from SBA, such as SCORE and SBDC. I think Yasna is with SBDC now. So those are great free resources, and they help you with your they can help you with marketing, they can help you with your business plan, they can help you with your projections, they can help straighten out your financials. So there's a lot of great free resources out there that you should take advantage of. And I should say, all our training programs are free. And we have one alumni on the call, CHIVAS. So we're permeating the community.
Michael, on that question of the CDFI, and you already pointed to it, but I want you to make it highlight it for us, especially for the small business owners on the call.
Okay.
Because what does a CDFI do that is different from the bank that you open your business account with, for example?
Okay, well, CDFI is going to be a not-for-profit, so that's I think that's the biggest difference. And so we're not Therefore, we are not profit driven. We don't want to lose money, but we're not profit driven. So we can be we can be a little more aggressive and with loans and with helping small businesses. Uh, our, our loans are going to be more of a conventional straight standard amortization, and our goal is to help grow you from a small business so that you can get to a traditional bank. Traditional banks do have their advantages. They can do credit cards. They can help you with payroll. They can do things like lines of credit. If you are doing procurement, often you get a contract, and but you don't necessarily have the funds to either satisfy that service or that that goods requirement. A line of credit would be a better tool for you in that case. Often, though, a small business can't get a line of credit, so we help them with that with conventional loans. Again, we are there to help grow you. If you remember, I said earlier, we go as low as 575 on credit. A traditional bank, that's going to be a key cutoff for them. It's going to be 680. So there's again, so the CDFIs were created to help small business community where the banks are less inclined to do. I mean, think about it. If I can do a $5 million, if I'm a traditional bank and I can do a $5 million loan, why would I spend time on a $100,000 loan, which is going to take probably more time because it's going to require more handholding? And so CDFIs, the SBA grant guaranteeing of bank loans like SBA loans, 7As, were all done to help encourage money flows downstream to the small business community. And the reality is the small business community supports probably 50% of the employment in the country. And in the county, in Miami-Dade, there's 82,000 businesses, and I think about 52,000 of them qualify as the definition of small business. So it's the small businesses are a big player and need support.
Absolutely. We are a small business county, right? So that's important to understand. So CDFIs, guys, for everybody who's a small business owner, is an important partner for every business that's here on this call. And he meant, the Miami Bayside Foundation is one of about half a dozen that exist in the county to support you. And we have two of them on the call. Ms. Lia Yaffar is also part of the Community Fund of North Miami. They're an amazing CDFI as well. And I love to see all that partnership and collaboration that happens in our county, and we need to step that up. But these organizations are there to help you grow. But I want to ask you, Michael, this one question. In my experience coaching and working with small business owners, in my own experience as an entrepreneur, right, we tend to be afraid to go for that loan, right? What you as a banker, you now in the nonprofit and being the loan program director, what can you tell us about how we should approach that decision to go out and get a loan, right? Because grants are there, but they're hard to find. They're not abundant. So sometimes the loan is important. However, the banks may not be within our reach yet as a small business owner. So how do I approach that decision responsibly that I need a loan to grow my business? When does that happen, or how does that happen? How should we look at it?
Okay, at some point, every business, unless you are cash flowing tremendously, is going to need outside funding to grow. It may be because you have a new piece of equipment that you need. You may need to bring on a new employee, just things that your basic cash flow is not going to be able to support. And so you can get either equity or debt, or again, like you said, grants. And there are grants like Edwin mentioned, MDEAT has, but those tend to be smaller dollar amounts, and they're great when you're starting out to give you those little boosts. And they're also nice because you don't have to pay them back. You do have to pay taxes on them though, so recognize that they are taxable. They're considered income. And so then your options are either debt or equity. If you're looking for a larger capital infusion, and again, it's going to be because you need to renovate, you need new equipment, you need a van, you need new employees, you need to do a big marketing push. All those things that your cash flow might not be able to support. What you don't want to do is not think about it, and then all of a sudden end up at that point where you're like, oh, cuss, I need money. And then because then what's going to happen is you're going to end up on a payday lender. There are merchant credit advances, what we call predatory lenders in the industry. They are always out there. They're going to give you $25,000 and they're going to not care about your credit. They're going to turn it in 24 hours. The flip side is they're going to charge you usury rates, right? We've seen them as high as 100%, crazy numbers, right? And the way they get away with that is because they're not lending you the money. They are buying your future cash flow effectively. So they are based on your cash flow, they're giving you that money. And so what happens is you end up with no cash flow because everything coming out every day, and typically you're paying them every day, is going to them. And so you have very little money to run your business and it becomes a treadmill. And unfortunately, the state of Florida has the largest number of bankruptcies from these types of programs. And the reason is, as a small business owner, and I get it, you are busy working in your business all day long. Every time you turn around, there's another fire to put out. What you need to do is you just step away every so often and work on your business. So one of the ways to work on your business is by having a business plan, by having projections so you can see when you're going to need that capital infusion. And then getting all your ducks in a row, your documents ready, checking your credit, making sure you're understanding where it is and why it's where it is, and maybe trying to improve it if necessary. And going to a traditional bank or to a CDFI or to another not-for-profit lender who's going to lend you money at, we're pretty low at 6%. You can sometimes find it if you're collateralized at less than that. Most of the time they drop in kind of that 9 to 12 range. Still significantly cheaper than a merchant credit advance. But again, you need to be proactive and working on getting those documents together. Not be reactive, because if you're reactive, the options thin down and they are not pretty. I think I covered most of that. You would come to a not-for-profit CDFI lender because we are, again, more lenient on credit is probably the biggest reason. We're also typically more lenient on number of years in business. A traditional bank is going to want to see 3 years in business and a credit of 680 or better. And if they also may want you to have collateral. Traditionally, CDFIs and not-for-profit lenders, we love collateral if it's there, but we're not going to, it's not a prereq. We are also not going to necessarily, if you own your house, we're also not going to consider that as collateral, whereas a traditional bank might.
Excellent. Thank you for answering that, Michael. I think it's an important point. So now I want to encourage everybody on the call. If you have a question, please raise your hand with the reactions button if you can, and I will pass you the mic. We have Michael here from the Miami Bayside Foundation, and I see that CHIVAS has a question or a comment. Go ahead, CHIVAS.
Hi, Mike. Good to hear from you again.
Hey, how you doing, bud?
I just have a question about the loan part. I've learned that, as you said, you don't want to wait to the last minute when you need the money, but you should ask for it beforehand. Let's say you have a couple loans already out, but you want to be ahead of the game because you have some ideas that you want to be able to pursue. Will that affect your chances of getting a loan from you guys if you already have loans that's already out, but they're upstanding?
Okay, so for the Black Business Loan Program, you cannot refinance existing loans, okay, which is kind of strange because typically those existing loans are killing your cash flow because they're merchant credit advances and high interest rate. But that's just the nature of the beast. That said, our traditional loan program, we could work because we will refinance existing debt with that program. That's just something that the state has in their docs. The other aspect of that is UCCs. UCC is something that's filed by a lender to let the community know that there's a lien on your business, that there's a loan out. If you got an SBA EIDL loan for more than $25,000, the SBA would have put a UCC out on your business as an example. Sometimes that can affect whether someone's willing to come in and take the position behind you. So what does that mean? Well, if you look at your capital structure, which is the kind of right-hand side of your balance sheet, right? The liabilities and the equity, you start with the short-term obligations like accounts payable and get down to then short-term debt and then long-term debt and kind of work your way down. If for some reason something happens to your business and you have to unwind it, payouts start at the top and work their way down. So the equity holders down at the bottom are the last ones to receive funding, right? Everybody that's lent money gets paid first. The UCC dictates the order of the payouts if that's the case. And so the earlier the UCC is going to get paid out first. One other caveat is the SBA is allowing you to, they are subjugating their UCC to another loan if you have it, if you're out getting one for an EIDL, but most banks will not do that. Also, when you're getting, the other ways to finance your business, by the way, are you can get equipment financing, you can finance payables. Lots of times those groups are going to also file UCCs. You want to make sure that when they file that UCC, it's only specific to what you're financing, because that can complicate things as well when you try to get additional funding. So for instance, you buy a new truck and you finance that, and the company that does that financing puts a UCC, but a blanket one, meaning it covers everything, then my coming in, giving you a loan means that I've got second position against everything, even on your business, even though they only finance the truck and they have that truck as collateral. So you want to make sure that if that was the case, that equipment, that truck, whatever it is, the lien is only on that. So and that's the collateral for their loan, and that gives you the rest of your balance sheet to help finance other debt or support other debt.
Did that answer the question, CHIVAS?
Or did I over answer?
Yeah. No, that was perfect. That was perfect. Thank you.
And CHIVAS, you have participated in past programs, right?
Yeah. Yes, I have.
How was that experience?
It was outstanding, actually. Let me get up. It was outstanding. I actually, the best part to me is to be able to have the camaraderie of other business owners. Sometimes you feel as a business owner, you're alone, and it's hard to make that connection, and you know, family and friends don't really know what you're dealing with or how to talk to. And so I made a lot of great friendships through the program. And not only that, but sometimes you just don't know how to find your way. And Mike and the people that he brings in does an excellent job at helping you find the way, and the missing pieces that you think you have, they find those pieces, or the people that can find the pieces for you. And it just helps you rocket launch even faster into your business.
Fantastic. Thank you, CHIVAS. I'm glad that was awesome.
Alan, did you get that? We're going to use that quote. CHIVAS, thank you. I think you nailed it on the head, though. And it's not just our program. I think you see that with the Goldman Sachs program, with some of the scale-up programs, some of the other programs out there, is the camaraderie and the fact that you're in a safe space with other business owners going through, and you realize that all the ups and downs that you're going through are not unique specifically to you, that there are other entrepreneurs are going through the same things, and that is a great part of those types of programs. That's a great point, CHIVAS.
Fantastic. That's a glowing review, Michael. Congrats. Ms. Teresa, I think Ms. Teresa had her hand up. Ms. Teresa?
Yes, I did. Hi. I wanted to ask if I've already applied for the SBA loan, could I still apply, and does it take as long? Because I applied for the SBA loan about a year ago next month, and they said my application is still processing.
Which loan did you, is it Teresa? I only see TLC. Is it Teresa?
Yeah, Teresa Brooks. TLC 123 is the name of my business. Yeah.
Okay, Teresa, which SBA program did you apply to?
I don't really understand that question.
Okay. The only reason I ask is because SBA came about as a way to get banks, traditional banks, to finance small businesses. I mentioned the math a little earlier. And what they do traditionally is they backstop a traditional bank. So for instance, you would go and get an SBA loan from your bank, I keep using the word traditional, but a traditional bank, commercial bank. And the SBA would then backstop that 75 to 85%, depending upon which program you're doing. That's when you hear things like 7As and 504s. During COVID, the SBA had their disaster loans, the EIDLs, and that's a different program. And that money came directly from the SBA, from the U.S. government, U.S. Treasury. That's why I was asking about which program.
Right. I think it's just. Oh, I'm sorry. I think it's just a regular small business loan. It doesn't have anything to do with the COVID or anything.
Okay, so then it might be a community advantage, which those programs can take a lot of time. But yes, what I recommend to everybody, regardless, is when you are looking for financing, to reach out and talk to a number of different players, because not everybody's going to have the appetite for your business. They may have maxed out in food businesses. They may not have funds available at that time. Every program has its own little quirks and so the more that you reach out to, the better better options you'll find. So, but we're happy to talk to you about a loan. I mean, we've got money, we're in the market. So if you reach out to me after this, I'm happy to get on a call and learn a little bit more about your program.
All right, thank you.
And that's, I think, brings up something that I didn't mention on the question that Danilo had earlier. When you are going to a traditional bank, and I hope no big banks are on here, I would, as a small business, stay away from the TDs, the Chases, the Wells Fargos, not because they're not good and they offer a lot, but you are such a small fish in a huge, huge ocean. You're not going to get the attention, and the bankers there tend to change a little more regularly. I would go to and look at regional banks that, Bank United, Oceans, depending upon what your needs are. Programs like Ocean, they don't care if you're not a U.S. citizen. They will work with non-green cards. Bank United has great programs for smaller business, and the bankers are more engaged with you and your business because they are smaller banks. So when you do start those relationships, and remember, they're going to want you to have your funds, your money flowing through their bank. So if you're already at a Chase, you're starting to think about traditional bank funding, it's only in fairness to them, if they're going to put their neck out there and give you a loan, they sort of want to see you running your business through them. So be aware that that's an often unstated requirement.
Thank you, Michael. And does anybody else have any questions or even comments? I'll just raise your hand and I'll pass you the mic. Anybody else want to chime in?
Any questions on any business questions?
That's right.
I'd like to ask a question or make a statement. My small business, I operated it in North Carolina, and it was going full speed, and then I had to stop for some family reasons, and then I moved here to Florida. So I'm currently in the Scale Up Miami class, which I will be graduating in September 23rd.
I'll be at your the pitch night.
Oh, okay. Oh gosh. So yeah, we're working on that. Okay, so we're finishing up our financials, and so at the end of that, we should have a good solid plan, because it's been a wonderful class. So my question is, would I be able to submit that plan now to perhaps get a grant or loan?
Yeah, without a doubt. We are not, again, a traditional bank, and so we don't expect everything to come in buttoned up. We actually prefer that the documents come in bits and pieces, so we can have conversations with you, get to know you, understand your business better. And part of that is with the business plan, which we do require. We tell people bullet points. I don't need pros. I just need the basics. And then what we'll do is start going, okay, a little bit more, spend a little bit more time on the competition. Let us know what's going on there. I love what you did on what your customer, your typical customer looks like. You did a great job there. Now tell me how you're going to market to them. So it's a back and forth conversation. And the same thing with the projections. They're not going to, projections are a guess anyway, and everybody's so afraid to start those guesses. So we just say, hey, just dump some numbers in there, and then we'll start moving them around with you.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
Fantastic.
But,
Dr. Friend, look at
you do want to do the hard work yourself, because if you don't do the work, you're really not going to understand all the nuances of your business. So
I've learned a lot since I've been in Scale Up Miami, you know.
Yeah.
So anyway, I don't want to take up all the time.
No, that's great. We can always talk offline.
Okay, great. All right,
thank you, Dr. Friend. But that's huge, Michael. The support that you offer is not just supply and you're done, right? No, you help them craft the application. So I love that. I'm gonna go to Ms. Sardebra and then Ms. Lia. Sardebra.
Thank you, Danilo. I wanted to know, I work with a lot of young entrepreneurs, and I wanted to know if you all have programs where you can help them kind of sort of like score, you know, where they have a mentor or somebody who can advise them as far as how to make sure that their business is going to be successful. Because what I want them to do is go to the next level, and that's what they're trying to do. They don't want to be a small business owner forever. They want to enlarge their company, enlarge their territory, but they don't know what they need to know. And there's only so much I can help them with. So do you have programs like that?
Okay, so when you say young, we're not talking kids in high school, college. We're talking just young, early in their careers.
Early in their career.
Okay.
Yes.
So first, I'd be remiss if I didn't say you need to push and you need to fail. And fail has such a negative connotation in our society, but it is not. Failing is actually succeeding. I think it was Thomas Edison that said, when asked, he said, "I never failed. It just took me 10,000 times to figure out how to do it right." And it's the lessons you learn when you fail as you're fighting through being an entrepreneur that actually are going to lead to success down the road. Okay, so just wanted to say that. The other, as far as support, SCORE is a great source of mentors. So they're guides. They're not going to do the work for you, but they're going to be a sounding board. And a lot of times, as you heard CHIVAS say, the hardest part of being a small business owner is you don't know who to turn to bounce ideas off of. And so SCORE is a great resource for that. SBDC tends to be more coaching. They get their hands a little more dirty in the work, but they're another good free resource. Both are supported by the SBA. If you are looking for a loan, any of the CDFIs are going to work with your company to help them do the documents and talk through not only that, but talk through business tactics. So for instance, I speak probably, there's a couple of small businesses that are in our portfolio I speak to once or twice a week where they're bouncing ideas off of me and acting as a sounding board. Just a shameless plug, once a quarter, I do teach a class on how to write a business plan for SCORE. It's also part of the SBT. But within that, there's a lot of business insights that are discussed. So hopefully that answered your question.
That sounds like.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, Ms. Sardebra. Is that open to the public, Michael, the class you teach?
The SCORE one is, and it's also free. That's once a quarter. I don't know when the fall one's going to be, but if you go to SCORE Miami, you can sign up and get on their mailing list. And then of course that is a pod within our small business training that we do that Alan's posted the dates on and application information.
Great. So if someone can help me and put that in the link in the chat box so folks can have access to that, that would be phenomenal. That business plan is key. Thank you so much. I'm gonna go. We're almost out of time, but I know that Lia, and then I'm gonna go to Yasnay, and that'll be it. So Miss Lia, you had a comment or a question?
You're muted, Leah. Or your mic's not working. You're not muted. It's weird. You're not coming through. Do you have something plugged into your mic jack? Or your headset jack? No?
Leah, I'm going to go to Yasnay to give you a little bit of time to see if we can work that out.
Oh, wait.
Yasnay.
Here she's connecting.
Yeah, she's connecting. But let's see if she's... Yasnay, let's go ahead with Yasnay real quick. Yasnay?
Hello. I wanted to just reinforce the greatness of this program and what Miami Foundation has to offer. Personally, as a business, Miami-based foundation, as a business coach, I work with multiple entrepreneurs. I partner with multiple nonprofits, one of them is BDC and Anapat and all of that. But I can tell the difference when the entrepreneurs went through this type of programs. I actually worked recently with a couple of entrepreneurs that graduated recently from the training of Miami-based Foundation. And what we're seeing is the transformation 10x because they have a different mindset. They're ready. So I just want to give the credit to what these type of programs give you and encourage you to apply because you're going to see the transformation. And then I can come in to just put a little bit more fire to implement, but you're going to be in the right place.
Thank you, Yasnay. Very kind of you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Yasnay.
In fact, Sarah,
Yeah.
Sarah Deborah, I think.
Okay, sorry. What a great shout out to Michael in Bayside, and I think he's done a great job presenting today about your programs and also about the industry. I think CDFIs are going to become a lot more hopefully accessible for people to work with us because definitely there's a gap where banks don't go, which we are really willing to go. So I just wanted to add two small things. I posted an event that we're going to be holding next week. So I hope if anyone is interested in attending, it's an event related to Profit First to minority business enterprises. It's something that we'll be holding. But I wanted to say about the CDFIs, two important things that just go to support everything that Michael has said today. Number one, we really are relationship driven. So it's not a transaction, it's a relationship that we build with the business owners. And I think that's the biggest change in the dynamic between dealing with a bank as a lender and dealing with a CDFI. And then the second thing is that relationship doesn't end with the loan. And just like Michael said, what we're about is the loan is one step in that relationship, and we continue working with you. We want you to succeed. We want you to pay the loan. We want to see you succeed. We want to see you grow. And eventually, hopefully, we want to see you be able to borrow directly from the banks and the traditional lenders so that we can then, take the funds that we were lending to you and now work with other businesses that were in the situation that you were before. So just be aware that kind of the dynamics and the drivers for us to work with small businesses make such a big impact to the business owner. So I do hope that all of you will work with organizations like Bayside, like ourselves, or like the others that are in this area.
Well said, Leah. Great. You're right. Sometimes I feel more like a bartender than a lender because I'm constantly talking to my clients about personal things and business things and whatever's bothering them. But often, as you guys know, as a small business owner, you don't have people around you, especially when you're unfortunately coming from minority and women-owned situations, that you don't have that support system that around you. And that's what we're here for, to help you, as Chivas said, be a sounding board, to be a safe space where you can know that it's okay to try things. Lots of times what we're doing is we're not necessarily changing your decision-making process. We're just really more of an affirmation. And sometimes that's all you really need. is someone to just say, yeah, you're doing it right. Don't worry, just go, go, go. And that's what we're here for. So go out and
Wow.
change the world.
Thank you so much. Michael, you get the last word. I just want to ask you, given the post-pandemic recovery and everything that we're seeing, the challenges that we're facing, what one piece of advice would you like to give the participants on the call today?
Be proactive, take some time, step away from your business once a week for an hour, go for a walk, and just think about the business, not worry about what's going on in the business. You need to step away, and don't be afraid to fail, because failure just means you learn something new, and that's what's really going to lead to your success. And it's just like if you're learning a new sport, if you're learning to ski, if you're not falling down, you're not going to get any better. And it's the same thing with small business. You're not falling down and making mistakes, you are not going to get any better. That means you're not pushing yourself. And you need success is persistence and pushing yourself. So
fantastic.
Well,
Love it,
change the
Michael.
world, peeps.
Thank you. Let's give them a big round of applause, guys.
Thank you.
I just want to add to what Michael just said. Michael, thank you so much for your time today. Thank you for the great presentation and showing us everything that the Miami Bayside Foundation does. But I just want to add to that as we're failing and getting and learning and pushing forward, that we're not alone. There's people that are on your side to help you along the way. If you fall, we got you. So remember that, because like Shiva said, we feel sometimes like it's the world against us. We're all alone, and it's not like that. And I hope the morning huddle is an illustration that that's the case, and you see the wonderful people that are out there working to help you become successful. So with that, we'll do it again next Friday. Thank you guys so much for joining us on the morning huddle, and I will see you next Friday at 10 a.m. Have a great and safe back to school weekend.
Thank you, Danilo, for putting this together. Everybody be safe.
Thank you, Michael.
Thank you, Danny. Thank you.
Danielle,
Mr.
can you wait?
Salinger.
Danilo, can you wait just a minute? I'm trying to print the check.
You got it, Dr. Frank. You got it.
Okay. All right.
Thank you, Danilo.
That's a good
I
idea.
have-
Nice to please.
Let me tell you, there's great stuff on there.
Yes, it is.
Blessed day, everyone.
Monica, great seeing you.
Thank you.
Likewise.
Bye, Danny. Thank you.
Thank you, everybody. Check out all the businesses in the chat box and support each other.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay.
Okay, great.
Did you get it, Dr. Fran? Donovan, good to see you on the call, brother. Nisha, good to see you. Congratulations.
Thank
Chivas,
you. Thank you.
thank you. Great to see that glowing review, Chivas. Keep up the hard work, man.
Definitely. Can you email me the Goldman Sachs one? I've been trying to get in that one.
Yeah. Do you see the link on the chat box by any chance? 10,000. So I'll put it again. Is that cool?
Yeah, that's fine.
All right, let me get that. Let me grab that for you. And I also put the score link as well.
I did score as well. Listen, when I first started, I tried to figure out everything. So I got a lot underneath that helped me get forward.
That's fantastic. So there it is. And there is Nisha shares some stuff as well from the Bayside Foundation. Did it go on the thing? Let me see. There it is.
Yeah,
do you see it?
Yeah, I see it.
I think if you're at that level, Chivas, I think it'll be powerful. People just speak. And, all these programs. You hear what we're hearing about Scale Up, about the Miami Bayside Foundation's amazing programs. I've received some glowing remarks about what they've done as well. Just that exposure, like you said, that camaraderie and exposure is so important to achieve our goals.
Right.
Because it takes you out of your comfort zone to try new things, even though it's a little bit uncomfortable, but having that camaraderie makes it easier. You know, if I played basketball with Michael Jordan, trust me, my game would be like twice as good.
Indeed.
Maybe not you know, not like him, but you know, I would improve on my
Right.
path, on my journey.
Of course.
Yeah.
Definitely.
So how do you like the morning huddle?
Listen, I love it, man. I try to make sure I get on. I'll put it in my calendar to make sure